So now I'm going to go ahead and take you through the process for creating a basic flat file from scratch. First, you're going to need to retrieve a category template from Seller Central, and for that you need to go to the Add Products via Upload link under the Inventory tab. In the first tab there, you'll see it says Download an Inventory File. Click on that tab, and then below you're going to see a search box that says Search for your category. For this example, we're just going to use an oldie but a goodie silicone spatula, and that's going to bring up search results below. The first one we see there says spatulas, and we're going to hit the little plus icon, and if you scroll down you'll see that that shows us our inventory template. The category that they've suggested is home and garden, and we have a light template available and standard template available. For this example, we're going to use the light template, and I would also like you to take note of the item type keyword next to the template, and in this case the item type keyword is spatulas. Let's go ahead and download the light template to your computer and open it up in Excel. Now that you have the flat file template open, I want to give you a quick tour of your template. Look down at the bottom. These tabs at the bottom are very important. The first tab is an instructions tab. If you click on that, you're going to see a set of instructions. I recommend that you read the instructions thoroughly. They may seem a little confusing at first, but it'll make sense after a while. The second tab there is images, and it tells you something about how to prepare your images for your listing. The next tab is data definitions, and those are simply an explanation of what goes in the particular fields. The next tab is template, and that is the actual spreadsheet that we'll be putting your data into. The next tab after that is example, and this shows you at least two different examples of a flat file. One is a single SKU, and the other one is a parent-child relationship with multiple SKUs. And then the final tab is valid values, and those show you the different types of data that may be put in each field according to what that field requires. Let's go back to the template tab now and take a look at the sheet where we're going to put our information for our listing. Notice that the top three rows are header rows, and those are provided to us by Amazon and should not be modified in any way. You'll see that some of the columns are bolded, and that indicates required information or a required field. Now I'm going to just walk you through the required information, the minimal information necessary to make a flat file. In this case, we're going to start with column A, which is the SKU. Normally when you're adding a product via the web interface, Amazon assigns you a SKU. One of the advantages to the flat file is that you can create your own SKU. So you should really give some thought in how you're going to structure your SKUs, especially if you're just getting started and these SKUs are going to fit into a much larger catalog. The next column in this template is column B, product ID, and we're going to use our UPC number for that, so you would enter your UPC number there. Column C is product ID type, and that's where we're telling the number that we entered in to the left of that is a UPC number, so we're going to select UPC. Product name is our next column in column G, and that is the title that you'll use for your product. Column I is product type, and that's a drop down box. In this case we're going to select kitchen. The next column, column M, is item type keyword, and that's a very important field because this is the field that designates which subcategory your product is going to show in. Some of you will also remember this as nodes. That was the old style of designating a subcategory. Now Amazon uses the item type keyword, and you can find your item type keyword in the first tab of the Add Products via Upload, where we searched for spatulas. Down beside our template was displayed our keyword, and in this case the item type keyword is spatulas. The next column I want to discuss with you is the update, delete, partial update column. This is where we tell Amazon what to do with this row. Update basically creates a new row of data or a new listing. Delete deletes that listing or that row of data, and partial update updates any information which has been changed since the last time a modification was made to that listing. If you leave any column blank or any field blank in a partial update, then that information will not be updated. Now scrolling down to the right, the next columns we're going to fill in is the bullet point data, and that's starting with column V. There are 5 bullet point columns, and you fill those in basically the same way you do when you're using the web interface. These are going to be your bullet points which appear just below your title. Scrolling down to the right, you have column AC, which is your main image URL. Now this works differently than the web interface where you have to upload an image. In this case, you have to provide a URL to an image on the web. If you have a website, you can just create the URL from your website, or if you don't, you'll need to create an account with Amazon Web Services, which I believe is free, and upload some images so that you can get a URL. That's all the required information we're going to put into this flat file. The first thing you need to do now is save your file, and I recommend using a naming structure such as the name of your file, version 1.0, 1.1, and so forth. In order to upload this file to Amazon, you're going to need a tab delimited text file. So again, choose Save As and select Tab Delimited Text File to save your file as another version. Now that you have your file saved as a text file, I'm going to show you how to check it and upload it to Amazon. Back in Seller Central, we want to go to the Add Products via Upload under the Inventory tab. This time click on the middle tab that says Upload Your Inventory File. You're going to notice that there's 2 sections on this page. The top one is Step 1, Check Your File, and the one below is Step 2, Upload the File. First thing we're going to do is use Step 1, Check Your File. So to check our file, we're simply going to select the file type in the first box, which is inventory files for non-media categories, and then we're going to go down and choose our file, which is the text file we saved earlier. It asks us if we want an email alert for the processing report, and you don't really need that because it's going to show up automatically in your next step, which is the monitor upload status. Once you've selected the file, go ahead and click the Check My File box, and you'll be redirected over to the reporting window which says Monitor Upload Status. It normally takes a couple of minutes to process your file depending on the load at Amazon, and you'll have a new row appear there which will tell you the batch ID, the date and time of upload, and whether there are any warnings or errors associated with the file. It'll also give you a download link to be able to download that report. The check file report is in a TXT format, so you're going to have to open that up in Excel to be able to read any warnings or errors associated with the report. Amazon does a pretty good job of explaining to you what the problems might be with the fields in your report, and you simply read those errors and warnings and then correct your file as needed. Once you've made your corrections, you want to re-upload your file until you get 0 errors back in your report. There may still be warnings, but those will not prevent you from creating your new listing. In order to upload your file and create a new listing, we need to go back to the tab that says Upload Your Inventory File. This time we're going to go down to Step 2, which says Upload the File, and basically enter the same information you had before. We're going to choose Inventory Files for Non-Media category. Choose the file to upload. That'll be your corrected TXT file, tab delimited file. We don't need the email alert. And this time you have an option to check the Excel style for your report, which is very easy to read. So I would click that little bullet point there that says Excel recommended for your reporting format, and then hit the upload button. Again, you're going to be redirected over to the Monitor Upload Status tab, and wait for your report to appear. Now, I will tell you that it's not unusual to get errors on the upload of the file even though you checked your file and didn't get errors. So in that case, you'll want to go back, correct the errors, and re-upload the file. Once you have successfully uploaded the file, the upload status will tell you how many records were processed successfully, and that new item should show up in your inventory.